The distress beacon had been broadcasting for 3 cycles when the first human ship arrived at the Keltharian colony of New Haven. Aesel stood at the communications terminal, her violet eyes tracking the vessel's descent through the ash-choked atmosphere. The colony's shields flickered weakly above them, barely holding back the relentless bombardment from the Vrax armada in orbit. "They sent one ship," Farhat muttered beside her, his 4-fingered hands clenched into fists. As the colony's defense coordinator, he had begged the Galactic Council for military intervention. They had deliberated. The humans had simply responded. 1 ship against 17 Vrax destroyers. Aesel touched his shoulder gently. The message said to prepare landing zone 7. Let us at least see what they offer. The human vessel was unlike anything in the standard fleet configurations. It was a converted cargo hauler, scarred and patched with markings in a dozen different human languages across its hull. When the ramp descended, Aesel expected to see soldiers in combat armor. Instead, a woman in a worn leather jacket walked out, followed by what appeared to be construction workers, engineers, and a few individuals whose cybernetic enhancements gleamed in the dim light. "I'm Commander Chen," the woman said, extending her hand in the human greeting. "We got your message. Sorry we're late, had to pick up a few specialists." Farhat's translator struggled with the word specialists. His antennae twitched in confusion. "Commander, we requested military asylum. Evacuation ships. The Vrax have been bombing our settlements for weeks. We have 18,000 civilians and our shields are failing." Commander Chen nodded, pulling out a datapad. "Yeah, we read the brief. That's why we brought Marcus and his demo team, the Kovalenko sisters for structural engineering, and Dr. Okonkwo for trauma medicine." She gestured to the assembled group behind her. "Oh, and Farhat? We're not here to evacuate you." Aesel felt her heart sink. "Then why—" "We're here to make sure you don't need to evacuate," Chen interrupted, her smile sharp as a blade. "Humans don't really do retreat. We're more of a dig-in and make them regret it species." Over the next 6 hours, Aesel watched in bewilderment as the humans transformed New Haven's central district. The Kovalenko sisters, a pair of engineers who argued in rapid-fire Russian, began retrofitting the colony's failing shield generators with something they called redundant capacitors, scavenged from their ship's own systems. Marcus, a demolitions expert with more scars than original skin, started placing charges at strategic points around the colony perimeter. "You're bombing our own colony?" Farhat demanded. Marcus grinned, his teeth unnaturally white against his dark skin. "Not bombing, buddy. Controlled demolition. See those ridges? When the Vrax send their ground forces, and they will, we're going to give them a nice warm welcome. Avalanche style." Dr. Okonkwo set up a field hospital in the colony's largest shelter, teaching Keltharian medics human emergency procedures. "Your people have 2 hearts," she observed clinically. "That's actually advantageous. If one is damaged, we stabilize the other first." Commander Chen spent those hours on the communications array, speaking in clipped military terminology that Aesel's translator couldn't fully parse. She caught fragments. Orbital trajectory confirmed. Package inbound, weapons free. When the Vrax ground assault began at dawn, Aesel finally understood. The first wave of Vrax shock troops landed outside the colony's eastern perimeter. Marcus triggered his charges. The resulting landslide buried 3 dropships and scattered the rest. The Vrax regrouped, advancing on the southern approach. The Kovalenko sisters had reinforced that entire section with ablative plating, stripped from the human ship. Plasma fire splashed harmlessly against it. But it was what happened in orbit that truly demonstrated why humans had earned their reputation. 3 more human ships emerged from FTL, these ones decidedly military in design. They weren't capital ships, nothing that could match the Vrax destroyers in direct combat. They didn't need to be. With surgical precision, the human bombers targeted the Vrax fleet's sensor arrays and communications relays. Blinded and unable to coordinate, the Vrax armada found itself fighting 17 individual battles instead of one unified assault. Commander Chen coordinated the defense from the communications center, her calm voice directing both ground and space operations simultaneously. Aesel watched her work, this human who commanded with the efficiency of a machine and the creativity of an artist. "Your people asked for shelter," Chen said during a brief lull in the fighting, noticing Aesel's stare. "But here's the thing about humans. We believe everyone deserves a home worth defending. So we don't just give shelter. We give you the means to defend it yourself. By the third day, the Vraks withdrew. Their fleet, battered and uncoordinated, jumped to FTL in a disorganized retreat. The human bombers didn't pursue. Instead, they remained in orbit, standing watch. Farhat found Asil in the ruins of what had been the Eastern District, now a fortified bulwark of human engineering and Keltharian determination. I don't understand them, he admitted. They're not soldiers. That Marcus is a mining engineer in his regular life. The Kovalenko sisters design habitat modules. Dr. Okonkwo runs a civilian clinic on Mars. Commander Chen told me something, Asil said softly. She said that every human is, in some way, a warrior. Not because they love violence, but because they refuse to abandon those who need help. They asked us what we needed. We said shelter. They heard give us the tools to survive, and so they sent commanders to lead, builders to fortify, and bombers to buy us time. Commander Chen approached, her jacket now thoroughly stained with mud and ash. We'll stay another week, make sure your defenses are solid. After that, we'll leave you a direct communication line. The Vraks come back, you call us, deal? Asil performed the Keltharian gesture of profound gratitude, crossing both arms over her chest. Deal. But Commander, I must ask why? Why would humans travel so far for a species they barely know? Chen's expression softened. Because somebody's got to. And because maybe someday when humanity needs help, someone will remember that we showed up. She paused, then smiled. Besides, you asked for shelter. We just have a very human definition of what that means. It means somewhere safe, and sometimes making somewhere safe means getting your hands dirty. As the human ship prepared to depart a week later, Asil understood. Humans didn't offer shelter. They offered something far more valuable. The strength to create your own.